Hello everyone, welcome to fucking Whack Comics. I'm with the main fucking man himself, Jimmy the Don, Small Town Collectibles. How you
So,
going, man? We haven't seen you in a hot minute.
no, man, I've been gone for a while. Thank you so much for asking me when I got the invitation to come and join Lee. I was like, absolutely. I haven't got to do anything like this in a while, and man, I was pumped. I'm a huge Whack Comics fan, so anytime I get a chance to hang out with you guys, I'm all about it.
We couldn't do 10 Whack questions without you, Jimmy. It's obviously inspired by your greatness, so it's an absolute pleasure for you to crawl out of your hole that you've been in and grace us on YouTube one last time. Hopefully not the last time. Hopefully we can see more of you again.
I hope so, man. I really do miss it, and we were talking before we started recording. It's really I didn't realize how much time COVID actually gave me because that's when I started doing. I think a lot of us started doing this when COVID came around, just looking for something to do. And both of my daughters are in high school now, and so my wife and I are having to constantly go different directions. And I just chose the use of my time. I want to be with my kids because they're not going to be here in the house much longer. They'll be going off to college, and so I just wanted to spend my time with them, and hopefully I'll get to come back someday, brother. Like I said, I really do miss it. I miss everybody. I really enjoyed making the content and was able to teach myself a lot of things like editing and all that stuff. And then 10 questions was probably my favorite thing to do. Just really getting to sit down and get to know everybody.
You're a saint, man. Family first, always.
Well, it is for me. That's why we were raised, here in the hills of Eastern Kentucky. Family is a big thing, and it's really all about family, and that's how my parents were. They were always there, and like I said, I've only got a few years left with my daughters here in the actual house, and I want to spend every second I can with them. So,
all right, let's get into the questions, eh? Question number one for the people who do not know Jimmy the Don, maybe because they weren't around when you were around. Who the fuck are you?
Jimmy Don Kerr. I am a hillbilly from Eastern Kentucky. I am a massive Kentucky Wildcat fan, a massive Superman fan. I love Superman. I am a mortgage banker by trade. I own my own mortgage company for probably 10 to 12 years. I actually just sold it back in August. And I'm now working for the company that I sold it to. I'm a husband and I'm a father. As I just said, my life pretty much revolves around work, my kids, and my wife. And then when I get some time, I love to read comics.
So, talking about comics, what was the first comic book that you read and hated and you wanted to destroy that motherfucker?
The first one I read and hated. Dude, I mean, I know this is going to be corny and most people, probably say something like this, but I really don't hate anything. Like, I'm one of those people that likes everything. Okay, like everything. There's nothing I don't read that in some way I don't enjoy. If it takes my mind away for 15 minutes, to read a comic book, and that's enjoysome to me. So I can't really think of one that I really hate. I'm sure there is one that I've just really not enjoyed. I was trying to think, and I was like, "Oh, that's the stupidest thing I've ever read." I really can't. I'm just an overly positive person, Lee. I really don't know of any books that I hate. The first comic book I ever read was Firestorm. I'm also a big Firestorm fan, but what attracted me to that was the colors. The story was okay. Like, I don't remember being like, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever read. I think it was 78, Firestorm #1. My cousin had it, and I saw it, and I was like, can I have that? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. He gave it to me, and I still have it today. I packed it around. It's beat to shit, but I've had it forever. But I was sitting here trying to think of something that I hated, and I really don't have one. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We can't hate everything, I suppose.
No, I'm just by nature, I am an optimistic person and a positive person. Like, I generally, no joke, like, even people were talking about movies. They're like, that's the shittiest movie I've ever seen. And for me, if it entertains me for an hour and a half and I can kind of zone out for a little bit, I like it. I like pretty much everything.
It's probably why you're one of the nicest people around too. You can find the good in everything, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if it entertains me for a little bit, I'm good.
All right, let's head on to question number 3 then. Question number 3: what comic book character, in your opinion, has the most takeable penis?
The most hateful penis.
No, takeable.
Well, takeable. Well, I think I would have to say Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Because it 100% it can change sizes, it can accommodate smaller places, smaller holes if you're not, gaping and, you can't take the Incredible Hulk. Plastic Man would be your guy because he can pretty much change shape and do whatever he wants to. So I think that is absolutely the most takeable penis.
That's a great answer. Of course, it change size, and if you've got a loose bum hole, you can stretch to your size. If you're tidy, he can make it real thin for you.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Question number 4: if you could date anyone in the comic book community, who would it be?
If I could date anybody in the comic book community, who would it be? I want to say, really, my mind immediately went to DJ Lynx because he is, and that's probably a very popular answer. He's very cool, and I am not cool at all. And I think I would hope that his coolness would rub off on me. And I think maybe I would want to date him. Also, he's a great editor. If I got in a relationship with him, he could edit my videos if I were doing them. He lives in New York. I enjoy going to New York. It's a fun city. He could take me to Yankees games, get me a hot dog, things like that. Yeah, I would have to go with DJ. He seems like the most. That was the immediately came to my mind was DJ.
He spreads love too, because it is the Brooklyn way.
It is the Brooklyn way, and he spreads it the Brooklyn way, from what I'm told.
I wonder what that means.
I don't know. We may need to talk. See if I was in a relationship with him, he could explain to me. He could spread love the Brooklyn way to me.
Yeah, he could demonstrate it too. Not only
he could demonstrate it, right? Yeah. Exactly. Like he could absolutely demonstrate that to me, and we would know. We would all know because I would tell you.
Perfect. Question number 5: what Pokemon do you think Rob Fat Stacks of Comics would be?
Look, I don't know Pokemon at all. I have no clue. I can't answer this question because I don't know anything about Pokemon at all. Like nothing. I don't even know. Like, what's the little yellow one? What's his name?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Yeah, like he's the main. So Rob would be Pikachu. Rob's cute.
That's a good answer because I've got a little image that I can show you of Rob as Pikachu, and it's
uncanny. Oh, please do. That is perfect. See, look, I didn't even know, and I knew. No, I really, that is one thing that I know absolutely zero about. I've never, my nephews, I bought them 1,000 Pokemon cards, right? Like they love that stuff, but I have no clue. I've never seen the movies. I've never seen anything. But, I would love to be able to hold Rob like that. Like, like that.
Like
the mustache, that would be awesome.
What I'd give to hold Rob like that. Oh my God.
Right. I know.
Question number 6. I don't know if you've read much Berserker or have heard about it, but Keanu Reeves is comic book writer now. Let's come up to a close. With that in mind, what comic for the big 2 publishers, Marvel or DC, do you think that Keanu Reeves should write?
What that he should write? I was trying to think. For Marvel, I think he should write the Punisher because John Wick is very Punisher-like. And if you think about, and even Berserker for that matter, he's just an ass-kicking machine. And so I think Punisher definitely. I think that's Keanu Reeves would be perfect on Punisher.
The guns.
Huh? The guns, right? Yeah, the guns. If you need somebody to write or act in, somebody shooting things up and killing everybody, if you want everybody to die, then Keanu Reeves is your guy.
So next question. Last year, I was campaigning pretty hard for a Killaroo Does a Poo colour-in book. And with that in mind, what character would you like to see a Does a Poo colour-in book of? So a character doing a poo, it's a colour-in book. And what artist would you like to see draw that?
Oh, a coloring book of a character doing a poo.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole book.
That's the whole book. So the character... I'm going to go with Wonder Woman. I wouldn't care to see Wonder Woman take a poo. That might be a fantasy. For the people out there who like things like that, different things. maybe Wonder Woman if you're into the ladies, her taking a poo. And as far as the artist, I'm a big Kurt Swan fan. He did a lot of Superman stuff, and I think he can appropriately draw a comic book character taking a poo, and it would be fun to color.
No, that's a great answer.
Yeah, I give great answers.
What made you want to call your YouTube channel Small Town Collectibles, and couldn't you think of anything better?
No. And here's why. I live in a really small town. There's 600 people in my town. That's the population.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 600 people of the town. When I was in college, people called me Small Town. They're like, "What's up, Small Town?" You know, I mean, because if you're in Kentucky, everybody knows, I guess, Eastern Kentucky. You know, I went to Eastern Kentucky University, which is actually in Central Kentucky, which makes no sense. But that's what like my friends would call me. You know, people on campus would call me Small Town, and so I've been called that pretty much my whole life. So I thought, well, we'll call it Small Town Collectibles because I am not original at all. So that's what I went with.
Well, I'm surprised people didn't call you the Don in college.
They called me the Don as well, but that didn't sound as good when I was trying to come up with a YouTube channel name. You know, that is my moniker, that is my handle. People call me the Don of Small Town Collectibles. But yeah, no, that is truly. I was sitting there trying to think of something, and I was like, well, I live in a small town. You know, that's a lot of who I am, a small town. So let's go with that because I couldn't think of anything else. You know, I guess I could have come up with like DJ Don, you know, Whack Don, Don Whack, Don Fat Stacks.
They're all great alternatives.
Yeah, Don Fat Stacks. I could do that. Don, the casual comic guy. You know, or Jimmy D, the casual comic guy. That's 10 times better than that guy, Gary B. Jimmy D and the casual comic guy.
Jimmy D? Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, that's 10 times. See, if I would have known, I didn't know, though, at the time. But I'm casual, and that sounds 10 times better than Gary B. You know, there was Slotted Up, Don It Up.
Yeah,
we could have done that. Who else have we got? You know, I don't know. Two Dons instead of two brothers. Two Dons. We could have went with something like that. I don't know. I could go on all day. Stop me.
They're great. They're great. All of them are great. What was it like? This isn't a part of the question. I just got to know. What was it like growing up in a small town of 600 people? Does everyone know each other a bit too well and get up in each other's business a bit? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. It's everything that you would think. You know, it's great in one way. You know, because you do know everybody, and it's very, as I said earlier, it's very family oriented, even with the community. You know, we can fight with each other, but if you mess with one of us, you will fight with all of us. You know, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, but everybody is up in your business. If anything goes sideways at all, they're talking about you, but they can because they're here. But if anybody else said anything outside the area, they would punch them. I mean, that's just really what it's like. No, it was great. It's very, it's very, I guess, not really mountainous. It's not like mountains, it's hills, you know, but they're, you know, hills. Like if you look at my door or my front and back door on both sides, it's just forest, you know, a lot of hunting, you know, a lot of people here hunt, farming, you know, a lot of people farm, raise their own stuff. But yeah, no, it's cool. I've lived in the city. It's like I try to explain to people too, and I don't know if you wanted this kind of answer, but it's really laid back. Like my job is really hectic. So, and I cover pretty much all of Kentucky, but primarily, you know, this area of Eastern Kentucky in my job. And my job is really, really hectic. But when that's over, I come home, it's really quiet, it's peaceful, you know, so it's kind of nice. And for the most part, people stay out of your business. They'll talk about you if they hear something, but you know, for the most part, people leave you alone. So it's pretty nice.
I couldn't imagine growing up in a real small town like that. I've always grown up near the city of Brisbane City, you know. So,
and like I couldn't imagine living in the city. And you know, when I was in college, I was in a place that was pretty large, Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and I enjoyed going to visit. But I always look forward to coming back home. You know, it's just home. So.
That sounds great. So this probably is a good one to touch on your upbringing in a small town. In one word, what would describe your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory. really it was swimming, but we would swim in the creek, you know, like the watering hole. Some people would call it. You would find a good, because back then, before coal mining really hit, because this is a big coal mining area as well. It's a big, that's basically the way of life, or was. It's not so much now, but it was for the longest time, was coal mining, and people didn't have a ton of money, and you would want to go swimming, in the summer. Like, I guess it's really a combination of things. Like where I live, when I grew up, we call it hollers, right? You live up the holler, and that's hollow, HOLO. It's basically a road that goes up in between two hills. And during the summers, like everybody would get on their bicycles, and we would all meet, and then we would go play basketball. Then we would go swimming in the creek, get the watering hole, go swimming. We'd go fishing. We would go in the hills and we would play war. We would shoot bottle rockets at each other, just stupid stuff like that. And then at night, like a lot of people would come back to my house, and my mom would make hot dogs or hamburgers, something that she could make, spaghetti that was cheap and you could feed a bunch of people and everybody would eat. And then we would do that every day. And that was a lot of fun, so that's probably my favorite, as far as, it's just a combination of things. But the swimming was what came to my mind because it was a lot of fun. We would go play basketball and then get hot and we'd go jump in the creek and go swimming for an hour. So I don't know. It was pretty cool.
That was a lot more than one word, but it was a good answer.
Yeah, sorry. You know me by now that one word does not work for me. I said swimming, but then I had to elaborate.
Yeah, fair enough. You can't follow instructions, but that's okay.
Right, that's small town. We didn't, we don't follow instructions. Nobody really told you what to do. You just kind of did what you wanted.
Question number 10: could you please, Jimmy the Don, show me and everyone watching how you would whack a comic book?
Yeah, so this is a whack hack that I've used for a long time. Now, the book that I'm going to show you today, this is Bloodsport, okay? And this has kind of like that fully goodness here. Mm-hmm. And over time, these books can fade. And you really want to take care of your comic books, okay? Especially these. And you don't want to lose that gloss on the book. Now, this is a book that I do this treatment to often. I use Cocoa Radiant.
Ooh, there it is.
Cocoa Radiant right here. Hold on. Right here. Cocoa Radiant. Now, there's not a whole lot in this because I use, Cocoa Radiant for everything. There's an episode of I did with Lee and Tyler on Whack Comics where, I kind of showed one thing I do with this. But this is what you do, basically. You want to, put it on there. And then you see it there. Mm-hmm. And then it's like this. And you want to coat the book generously. You don't have to put a lot, but I like to be generous with my Cocoa Radiant. And you put it on there. And it treats the book and it gives it a nice look. Look how much glossier that looks.
It is so much more shiny already, that's for sure.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
And so that's important. Comic book care, Lee, is something that every comic book collector should understand. And I use Cocoa Radiant. That's my whack hack.
Cocoa Radiant never fails.
Never fails, ever. And if you're reading Harley Quinn, Catwoman, you get a little excited, there you go. And it keeps your hands nice and smooth.
Is there anything that Cocoa Radiant can't do?
No, Cocoa Radiant is multi-use. And I have found it handy in many situations. Many. But comic book care, definitely on the top of that list. And that is the whack hack. I know normally we tear up comic books and we do things like that on, with whack hacks. But I thought it was important to show the use of Cocoa Radiant and to keep your comic book glossy.
Of course. You need to take care of your comic books as well.
Yes, you do. The ones that you like. I mean, if it's Berserker,
Yeah.
Right. We don't use Cocoa Radiant on Berserker. We don't. This book, though, we do. That's for you people.
Beautiful. That was the 10 whack questions. Now we have 10 this or that questions. You should know this. This is fully ripped off of 10 questions, but it's
100%. I love it. If anybody was going to rip 10 questions off, I would want it to be Whack Comics.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
That makes me
yes,
so happy. It warms my heart.
yes, it should.
So these are 10 this are their questions. But if you want to elaborate on any of them, feel free to.
Of course,
Okay.
I'm going to. You know that, right? I mean, I'm going to give a really long answer to everything you ask me. So fire away.
Question number 1. Who sucks more, Joe Biden or Tyler?
Joe Biden or Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, 100%. 100%. That's all I need to say about that one. That speaks for itself. That's no.
Of course.
Tyler.
Who's the better artist, Ethan Van Sciver or Rob Liefeld?
Ethan Van Sciver.
Really?
Yeah. That's who I'm going with. I'm not
What
a
would
Rob
you-
Liefeld guy. Like, I don't like his feet, how he draws the feet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't mind his tootsies. They're not too bad.
You don't mind the Tootsies? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm more of a Sciver guy though.
Okay. What would you rather eat, a comic book pizza or a comic book pie? I've made them both in the past, so I could make them for you again.
I am a sweets guy, so definitely comic book pie.
I got to stop you there because Australian pies are not sweet; they're savory, more of a meat pie.
Meat. No, meat pie. But no, I was thinking more of like an apple pie. When we could say pie here, I was thinking more apple. But meat pie works for me. So yeah.
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Backstreet Boys, 100%, because two of the guys in Backstreet Boys are from Kentucky.
Are they really? What two?
Yep. Kevin Richardson, and then his cousin. I don't know his name. But I actually, sidebar, met Kevin Richardson of the Backstreet Boys on a Disney cruise. We went on a Disney cruise. He just so happened to be on the ship that we were on. I walked up to him and introduced myself because he is a huge Kentucky football fan and Kentucky basketball fan. And I just went up and introduced myself and ended up talking to him for a little while. Super, super nice guy. No one from NSYNC likes the Kentucky Wildcats, nor have I met them on a ship. So Backstreet Boys all day.
That's a great answer. And that's so cool. I didn't know that some of them from your town. That's
yeah,
nice.
no, they are. They're actually from what it's called Estill County. It's like 2 hours from where I live. It was like 30 minutes from where I went to college. So,
Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera?
I am a Christina Aguilera guy because I like it dirty.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nas or Biggie?
I'm more of a Biggie guy. I know, Nas is the Godfather, but I'm more of a Biggie guy.
Shout out to the immortal Biggie Shack. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Jar Jar Binks or Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda, all the way. Look, no, stop right here. Are you a Jar Jar person?
Jar Jar for life, motherfucker. That's what I'm
I did
talking
not
about.
know this about you. I have to go. No, Jar Jar, Jar Jar's fine. Like a lot of people hated Jar Jar or criticized him. He did not bother me. But I'm all about some Baby Yoda.
Who was the better YouTuber, Remy Q Studios or actual Dracula?
Neither. No, sorry. I guess I need to give you an answer.
Yeah,
Who is
it's
the
a
better
lot.
YouTuber? I'm going to go with Drac, and here's why. And this is no disrespect to Remy Q because I love Remy Q. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. But we did I don't know who was it. We did. Was it Remy? I guess that we did this for. We did these videos, and Drac had this mask on. Remy Q, baby, and like from that point, I have been a Drac lover. So, and Drac has had me on his channel twice. Remy only one time. So
you don't like Remy Q at all?
No, not really. No, I mean his wife carries that channel. He's just really there, and I'm not really sure why he's there. He's there, but yeah, no, Drac, Remy Q, baby.
I don't know if you're too familiar with either of these two fellas because they're both Australians. I don't know I'm the only Australian that you really care for, but I'm still going to ask you the question. Who's the better Simon, Simple Simon or Mad Sporty?
Oh, Mad Sporty. I don't know Mad Sporty that well. I have seen him a lot on Remy Q's plays. I see him there a lot. Simple Simon, I was actually on, what was that called? On Juan the Rican's channel where you draw.
Yeah.
I was on there. Blame Reframe, right. I was on there with Simple Simon. I dig Simon's hair.
The red and black.
Yeah, and his just overall general personality. So I'm going Simple Simon.
Do you know he's had that hair, that red and black? He's committed to that same hairstyle for over 20 years now.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
That's true. Well, hey, that in itself is, I'll choose him. That's commitment right there.
And he's a hashtag foot guy as well.
Hashtag foot guy. I like it. Tootsies, baby.
So this is the last question, probably the most important. Dick cheese or toe jam?
Wow. I mean, these are the kind of questions that you get on Whack that are really thought provoking. And I'm not really sure how to answer this because I do like feet. Okay. I do like toe. That's why I'm not a big Liefeld guy. I don't like what he does with the Tootsies. And I'm really a foot guy. So I'm going dick cheese.
Oh, wow. That surprised me.
Dick cheese all the way.
Really great answer. Thank you so much, Jimmy the Don, for coming on 10 Whack Questions and giving me your blessing to continue 10 questions, but with a bit of a twist in your honor. I seriously can't thank you enough, man.
Oh, no, man. You know I love you guys. One of my favorite episodes of 10 Questions was when you came on. And it was because because it is more serious, right? Obviously, than what you guys do here on Whack. And you were nervous, and it was funny. It was real sweet. I mean, like you were actually nervous to come sit down with me, and then we had a great time. I mean, like I had an absolute ball. It was one of my favorite 10 questions that I did. But no, if anybody's going to do anything remotely similar to Whack to 10 questions, I want it to be Whack Comics all day, man, because you guys are the best. So original and so fun, and I get to, like, the first time I came on the channel, and I mean this, like I had so much fun because I don't act like that. I don't get to kind of cut loose and be different very often. And it was just so much fun to do that. And I had such a great time, man. I love you guys, you and Tyler both. So, yeah, no, just it's my honor that you asked me. I was so excited to be able to get a chance to come and hang out with you for a little while.
It was great. I loved coming on your 10 questions as well. And I was really nervous because I fall apart whenever I have to be serious. I can be whack and silly and fucking stupid all day, every day. But as soon as you want me to be serious, I'm fucking gone.
No, but you killed it. Once we got going, you killed it. I mean, like it was so good. And we really got to see a different side of you. And that's really what 10 Questions was about. You know, you kind of get to see a different side of the people that you watch on, you know, on these YouTube channels every day. So yeah, no, man, it was great. And like I said, man, thank you so much for asking me to come on. I really have enjoyed it.
All right. So your very last question, who would you like to see come on 10 Whack Questions?
Ooh, 10 Whack Questions. Now, who all have you had so far? I mean, do you care to say who you've had?
You're going to be the first episode. So
I'm going to be episode number 1.
Yes.
10 Whack Questions. I would really like to see Rob Fatstacks, and here's why. Because I think Rob would get really uncomfortable with some of those questions, and I would really like to see Rob. I'd like to see Remy Q. I'd like to see Drac. I mean, who else? I mean, there's just so many people that I love that I would love to see. Oh, Chip Gettler. Chip's one of my favorite people, and to have Chip be uncomfortable for a little while too is always fun. Yeah, but no, Nick. No, Nick would love this. He'd eat this up. You know, he's the man. Ignacio is the man. I love Ignacio. I don't know. I think really, like if I had to nail it down, I'm going to say Rob, because I think Rob's funny when he's on here, because I think he's being silly, and that's not Rob's nature either.
Yeah. All right. Well, you heard it here, Rob. We're coming after you next.
Rob, you're coming, son. Absolutely.
Thank you again, Jimmy, and thanks everyone for watching.
Ignacio is an artist and a whore. You pay him enough, there's nothing he won't draw. Ignacio.
So, Jimmy, I like your approach. Your Kurt Swan doing. Would you like it to be like one of those old Wonder Woman bondage covers while taking the poop? That would be really interesting. I think it calls out to a different time in comics in which you can have Wonder Woman tied up in the cover while taking a poop. Do you think she uses the lasso while she poops? No, good choice.
Ignacio, he's an artist and a whore. You pay him enough, there's nothing he won't draw. Ignacio, Ignacio, Ignacio.